Trump seems to be more aggressive with it. Do you not think that this may affect, the world economy as a whole? Are we facing a recession as a global economy?
Yeah, I think you're raising a very good strategic issue. So, I'm trying to be very cold and neutral here and not, look at things in a very cold, sort of strategic manner, right? And and from that perspective, the problem, the mistake that Trump is making, he's fighting on multiple fronts at the same time. So he's fighting that trade war against China and Mexico and Canada and Germany and the EU at the same time. So I think, the wise man would have proceeded more carefully and, like you said, more gradually. I think Trump is a man in a hurry and he's doing things abruptly, some may say brutally. And I think he's going to focus on sectors. So, for example, an obvious sector is U.S. beef, U.S. meat. The European Union, especially France, Germany, they've been using something called autonomous tariff quotas. And they've been saying, oh, you in America, you guys use gross hormones, the beef and the chicken you sell us, they're full of antibiotics and hormones, it's not good, blah, blah, blah. We're going to slap on you quotas, quantitative measures. But honestly, these autonomous tariff quotas, they are additional tariffs that American exporters have to pay. Another example is the cultural sector. Today, the cultural sector, including television, movies, entertainment, is really huge. It's a big part of the economy. And what Europeans are saying, like the French, for example, oh, we need to protect French language. We need to protect French, whatever, literature or etc. or theater. And we will put quotas or additional taxes on American producers in Hollywood who are exporting cultural products. So if you add up all the exemptions and additional, it adds up to a lot. And I think because there's a slowdown of the economy, I think the Americans are saying, enough is enough. But they're doing it aggressively. You're right.
Okay, if we could also get Dr. Khatib's perspective. I'm sure you've heard Mr. Firzli's perspective here that it's sort of targeted towards certain sectors. For instance, in Belgium, there's a 15% drop in the steel imports, and it has a ripple effect on European industries as a whole. Could this be a tipping point where protectionist policies may undermine, decades of transatlantic cooperation? Or is this, as Mr. Firzli may have said, something that was necessary but shouldn't have been, as aggressive? It should have taken more of a gradual sort of thing.
The answer is it depends. It depends. I mean, you have a human being dealing with a problem. And now you can imagine the White House with a big sign in front of it, this place is under new management. So the way things that were done before, he is abandoning them. Trump is making the conscious decision to abandon no more business as usual. There's an American expression, there's a new sheriff in town. There is this economic huge trade deficit that this country has every year, has a huge trade deficit. And the country has a huge debt. It's highly indebted, trillions of dollars, about $34-35 trillion. And looking into a competition with China, country that has the economy, the population, and the gifted people that present a serious threat to U.S. Leadership of the world and hegemony. So here is that it's not just one problem, it's a trade problem with all these players. That's why he's dealing with them at the same time. He's trying to restructure. Now, everybody comes to the table and turn a new page and say, okay, this is how things have been done before. Now we're going to do things differently. Americans, if you talk to regular Americans, normal Americans, ordinary Americans, and Vance, J.D. Vance is one of them. He comes from Ohio. They call it flyover country because people, when they visit this country, you have New York and you have California, and in between, they call themselves forgotten Americans. There was this deindustrialization in this country, deindustrialization. Basically, all the trade has hurt people. There's some people who made money, but a lot of people hurt. And many towns got devastated by the change in the economy. And there's perception that everybody is taking advantage of the U.S., not just so-called adversaries or enemies, but our friends as well. And that's populism. It has resonance with Democrats and Republicans as well. as your guest correctly with his excellent analysis noted.
But doctor, I mean,
So that
you talked about the
that's
idea
why
of
you see the
changes.
changes.
You talked about the idea of changes in policies and how this could affect, the masses, and it affected people in the past in the U.S. Given these protectionist policies that are, as you said, across the board, globally, will this affect, the people living in the United States in the near future negatively?
It is possible. It's an experiment. What you see that you'll have new management now. Things that were happening one way, now there's new management, there's new person, and he's a man in a hurry because he has 4 years, and 4 years will fly by. He has a chance to get things done because in the beginning the president is strong. As time passes, maybe in the midterm elections, the Republicans lose, and then he'll be in a weaker position. So he's in a hurry now to get his agenda enacted. And how it's going to play out, I mean, economists are not optimistic generally. They say this is tinkering with a system that has been, run on autopilot for a long time, and now you're trying to shake things up. And yes, bad things could happen, but I think you have human beings dealing with a real problem. And it's possible, have self-interest, rationality, and they arrange, they have new arrangement that's beneficial to everyone. When he says reciprocity, it means I treat you the way you treat me, and I don't think that's a bad value. It's not unfair to do that. But everyone gets used to doing things a certain way, and when you come and shake things up and change things, yes, it's a big. You're playing with a huge economy, with huge markets. With this is not like a limited. You're not like in a small town and trying to change things locally. This is globally, and as you said, correctly noted. I mean, it can't be. It can turn out to be a disaster, but it can turn a new chapter and doing things in a different way.